Okay, I hope the sound's okay on this one, because a friend of mine pointed out recently that the sound is really bad on my recordings, and I'm a sound person, so I thought I'd do something about it. So I'm trying it with this microphone thing. Anyway, yeah, so I wanted to talk today about first of all, conditioning. I got this from Roger Castillo's stuff mainly, but because I just like the way he worded it. But we're always being subjected to new conditioning. I think Ramesh Balskar talks about it too. And so for me, hearing these insights, hearing people talk about these concepts really does feel like new conditioning. And there's no one here that can act on that conditioning, but acting on that conditioning happens. And this is obvious when you look at your past. Like, you know, if you think about like your preferences, you know, why you choose raspberry sorbet over chocolate ice cream, it's all based on your conditioning. And that's, you know, you probably can't even pinpoint. Maybe you can in some circumstances, maybe you can pinpoint where your preferences were created, but usually you can't, which really does imply there's no choice there. And it's the same moving forward. So we're constantly being conditioned by our environment, and that includes hearing this message or reading it or just knowing about it and just bathing in it again and again. So that's, in the moment, that can feel really relaxing. It can give this sense of spaciousness and, you know, just this real presence, and just this, it can really, really quieten the mind, and just, you can really relax in that feeling of no one there, nothing to do, and peace. And then moving forward, when situations arise where the mind starts to wander or something, new conditioning can cut that off, can, if the thought stream's not serving or is making you feel contracted like a me or uncomfortable. And what tends to happen is, if you go to something like a talk or an event or something where you feel really, you know, you feel that oneness experience that everyone likes, that oneness, that spaciousness, that peace, and then you go back into day-to-day living, it can feel really contracted and really like the opposite. And it's almost like it's massaging your nervous system. It's like finding tension again and then releasing it. And you're, you know, you're for a lot of us, not for everyone, there's many people where this has been quite a sudden thing, and it's just, but for me and for a lot of people that I come across, it's a slow thing, and it kind of, it's almost like and this you can call this stories or whatever you want, but it's almost like the system is acclimatizing. I don't know what the right word is. I'll look it up, but it's adjusting to this openness, this kind of this relaxation, because it's such a contrast to where you're basing your operating system from usually, which is a false sense of separation. So this new point of moving outwards, of relating, behaving, thinking and feeling, is such a contrast that it can bring about this elation, this expansion and this relaxation. But then when your day-to-day life carries on and shit happens, because life does have ups and downs, that never stops, where your system is in conflict with that openness, can get exaggerated and amplified, and kind of just, it can feel really, really like the opposite. This is really, really obvious when you go to some kind of alternative therapeutic session as well. A sound bath, a plant medicine ceremony, a breathwork thing, a festival, a non-dual talk, somewhere where you connect with people, where you just don't feel the sense of self, you just feel this oneness thing. And then the contrast is like, you're like, where's all this peace gone? Where's all this relaxation gone? But it's that adjusting, it's that acclimatizing to this new perspective, and it can't happen. It's well, I can't speak for everyone, but for me and for a lot of people, it doesn't seem to happen quickly. It needs to be slowly adjusted to it because of the contrast. And so it feels like flipping and flopping, meaning and being, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. Wait, I did that the wrong way around. You know what I mean? Expansion, contraction. And it's exhausting. And every time it's happening, you might feel like, I lost it, I got it, I lost it. And it's just this massaging, it's like this acclimatizing. You know, if you have a weak muscle and you do some working out, you're going to feel that afterwards. You're going to feel that recovery. You need that recovery. And then you do it again, and next time you can lift more. And it's just this reconditioning. And then at some point, that same level of weight that you're trying to lift, it ain't no thing. Do you know what I mean? So it's the same with life. It like pushes you into these uncomfortable situations, and this strong sense of contraction is showing your system where it's not in line with this new understanding. And that can slowly get acclimatized. Not with everything, not permanently. These things still come and go. But it seems to get a lot easier with time. And these are just byproducts of the message. The message ultimately is that all of this is included, contraction, expansion, whether you're into this message or not, whether this stuff seems to be making your life easier or things are relaxing or not, that none of that matters. But the byproducts are very obvious. It is obvious on the psychology of a person and on the biology. And there's no set rules what those byproducts are, because that will change from person to person. So someone might be a walkover all the time. They might let some people just trample all over them, and then as part of this understanding, they kind of really come into their own, and then they become the opposite, and they're like, don't take no shit from anyone. And that's a kind of swinging to find the center as well. And it might be the opposite for someone else. Someone might be, super aggressive all the time, and they might just chill out more. And for some people, you might not notice anything because it's not having that much of an impact on their psychology, because not much of their psychology is directly intertwined with this attachment to this sense of feeling contracted and separate. So there's no rules to this. It's totally different for every different body mind organism and their particular makeup, their particular combination of conditionings and genetics. And for this body mind organism, there's an obvious impact of this message on the character and on the psychology, but I have to stress this again. This is a byproduct. This is a byproduct of the message, and that's why going into specifics of the byproducts doesn't necessarily help everyone, because everyone's byproducts are different and they're just byproducts. The message is very simple. And it's just the end of seeking. Anyway, there's a bit of a ramble there, there's a bit of a, kind of went a bit all over the place, but it just felt like this needed to come out. I hope you're having a lovely evening or day, wherever you are.